Just turn your, it shouldn't.
Okay. Good morning. It's Wednesdays. I'm Wayne. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne. Brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. This is the learn to use it part. Now, what does that mean? It means your license guarantees you nothing. Every year, thousands of people get into the real estate business, and every year, thousands of people leave because the license guarantees you nothing. It's the entry fee you pay to get into the business. It doesn't tell you how to succeed, how to list or sell houses or invest or develop. So, it's a tool. And like any other tool, unless you know how to use it, it's worthless. So don't be a worthless tool. Get your license and learn to use it. We're talking about skills for success. Last week we talked about focus. And to say focus, I made some notes once again. So I'm ambivalent about reading to you, but I want to make sure that I have my thoughts together. I don't miss anything because I'm talking, therefore I think it's important. I'm a legend right here. So we talked about success, what success is, and what some of the keys to success are. We talked about my observations of successful people and the books I've read about successful people. And as the saying goes, success leaves clues. So that's why I watch and read and observe and talk to and visit and hang out with successful people, because I want to be one too. And what I figured out years ago is you're kind of some of the people you hang out with. So if you hang out with Lehu's hers, then you're the next one. And if you want to hang out with successful people, if you don't have the characteristics and habits and traits they have, after a while you begin to develop those, and next thing you know, you're a member of the successful club. So we also talked about not being surprised. I don't know what it is about my makeup. I'm just not surprised when I succeed. It's an expectation I have of myself and other people. So the focus of the last session was about focus. That multitasking is overrated. And focus is, you get rid of all distractions, focus on one thing, stop trying to do everything where your energy is dispersed, your attention's here and there and everywhere, and just focus. So today, what we're going to go into is what I consider to be the 3 types of education that we all need in order to succeed at a high level. So above and beyond reading about rich people and successful people, as you can see, there's a lot of books behind me. This is a portion of my library. I moved recently, and the library here is smaller, so a lot of my stuff is in storage. But I've read books about successful people. I visit with successful people. I talk to successful people. And what I've learned is that most of them have 3 types of education. And the first type is what I'm going to call technical education. This is what I call the nuts and bolts of a business. If you're a plumber, you need a plumber's license. And to get that, you need to learn building codes, types of pipes, pipe schedule chart, how to connect them, how to do plumbing repairs. You need to understand the technical part of becoming a plumber. If you decide you want to be an electrician, it's ohms, volts, and amps, right? And Ohm's law states it takes 1 volt to push 1 amp through 1 ohm of resistance. What that means, in simpler terms, volts divided by ohms equals amps. This is what I call technical information. Volts divided by ohms equals amps. Well, how do you even go find a volt, an amp, and an ohm, and a volt to even do the equation? So I don't even know. That's technical education. In real estate, it's contracts. And the reason that I said there's more to real estate getting a license, I don't mean to disparage the licensing process. It's crucial to understand. I mean, most of the lawsuits and complaints to the Real Estate Commission are contract disputes because realtors don't have this technical information, education that they need to avoid these contractual disputes. So to pass the state exam and get licensed, you would need to know all these things about plumbing and electricity. If it's nails and hair, you need a cosmetology license. If it's representing other people in the buying or selling of homes, you need a real estate license. So these are careers that require education, licensing, and training that people can specialize in. The problem with specialization is it leads to extinction, as Mother Nature has shown us over the centuries. I know the Fish and Wildlife environmentalists want to protect a certain species, but many of them are designed to become extinct. They just can't survive. It's called Darwin. So take your typical realtor, for example. They specialize in listing and selling residential real estate. In recent history, interest rates were low, demand was high, and homes are selling at a record pace. Then, the current leaders of our government decide that prices on items we consumed, including houses, were rising too fast, causing inflation. So they raised interest rates to make these things more expensive so we would stop buying them, which would make prices come down. And so the mortgage rates on homes have doubled, almost tripled from where they were just a few months ago. So house payments doubled, almost tripled, making houses unaffordable because most people lack a financial education because our public education system doesn't teach anything about money or finance. And therefore, people who make good grades in high school and have degrees from expensive colleges and universities still live paycheck to paycheck on a fixed income. So the price of the house is irrelevant, like almost everything else most people in this country buy. It's not how much, it's how much a month. If you make me like it, you show me a way to cram it in my budget with your great creative marketing, I'll take it. So the housing market has stalled, leaving tens of thousands of real estate agents and mortgage brokers without any income because the payments have doubled or tripled. And again, with real estate, it's not how much, it's how much a month. People aren't buying a house, they're buying a payment. That's not a $300,000 house. It's $600,000, $700,000 by the time you pay it off. It's not a $500,000 house. By the time you make that mortgage payment over 30 years, it's double or triple that. So it's not the price, it's the payment. The problem is, this is our whole economic system. It's amazing because we transitioned from a society that paid cash for everything to a society that charges almost everything. I'm at HEB the other day, I see somebody buying a loaf of bread with a credit card on it. What? I had no judgment on it. I just thought it was curious. I just observe, but just not to judge. It's none of my business what they do or how they do it. I just want to know what the patterns and trends are doing around me. What are other people doing? They're paying, they're charging loaves of bread. I'm like, okay, interesting. So most people don't carry much cash, and they don't have any leftover disposable income. So when people spend money they don't have by borrowing to buy things they don't need, to impress people they don't know, the government calls it an economic recovery. And if you listen to MSNBC, I'm sorry, not MSNBC, forget I said that, scratch that, never watch that. If you will watch CNBC and study financial statistics, listen to the movers and shakers and leaders of our industry, the corporations, the guys that are really running the show, and then you get a financial education, then you'll hear it. And the phrase is, the government, the economy is in recovery because consumer spending is up. It makes no sense. The problem is, all these agents were blindsided by the recent rise in interest rates. And hold on, I got a message. Okay, thank you for the message. A lot of these agents are blindsided because they thought this party was going to go on and on forever and never end. But it ended. They were totally blindsided because they didn't understand they were in such a volatile, risky business. They had no idea that the government's fiscal policy could put them back to zero. They just did what they were told. Memorize this information, take this test, pass that exam, here's your license, go sell some houses. Now they're on the verge of becoming obsolete. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a plumber or own a plumbing company? Do you want to be an electrician or own a company that wires buildings and provides electrical services? Do you want to list and sell real estate, or do you want to own a business that sells real estate? Do you want to be in the real estate business, or do you want to own a real estate business? Do you want to list and sell it, or own a company that lists and sells it? Most people think that risk and reward are proportional, that the bigger reward you want, the more risk you have to take. Don't start a business That's too risky, said the guy with no income, because it got downsized and too afraid to start a business. It's totally possible to achieve massive returns with little risk. And I can prove it. I've done it. I'm doing it right now. So another part of being successful is knowing who to take your advice from. I don't take advice from losers, talkers, and wannabe posters who rather say cool things on Instagram. I don't take marital advice from people who have been divorced 5 times. I might take divorce advice from them. But I'm not to take advice from someone on how to make a woman happy and not hate me enough to never want to see me again from a guy who's been divorced 5 times. So you've got to know who to take your advice from. You've got to know the difference between a fact and an opinion. Because, okay, let's stop right there. What is a fact? A fact is something that can be proven to exist via physical evidence. This is the chair. I can prove it. There's the fact. This is the real estate blueprint I made. The business blueprint I made. That's a fact. These are the papers that I made for today's speech. That's a fact. Something that can be proven to be physical evidence. What is an opinion? An opinion is something that may or may not be true. We are entitled to our opinions. Absolutely. Are they all of them true? No. Some are, some aren't. How many of you have someone present their opinion as though it's a fact? Okay, good. So if you can't tell a fact from an opinion, so again, fact, something that can be proven via physical evidence. Opinion, something that may or may not be true. What do you call someone who can't tell the difference? If you can't tell the difference between a fact and an opinion, a lot of people can't. You have a sloppy mind. And so the key is to figure out fact from opinion and who to take your advice from. Some people think businesses are risky. Years ago, businesses were risky. Starting a business was risky, getting a job was safe. Now the opposite is true. Starting a business is a lot less risky than trying to get a safe, secure job, because safe, secure job doesn't exist anymore. Those days are long gone. It started in 1974 with the ERISA Act, and if you want to Google that and read about it, ERISA, ERISA. This is when they started. The whole thing about safe, secure jobs was over at that point. So this whole thing I see is just a paradigm shift. And when paradigm shifts, everyone goes back to zero. Your past success guarantees you nothing when the rules change. That's why memorizing right answers in public education and making good grades is so risky. You leave that thinking you know something, like how to get a good job. That doesn't exist. See, those days are over. A paradigm is simply a set of rules. What happened? The lending rules changed. That's it. So now we have 3 groups of people. We have those that make things happen, those who watch things happen, and these realtors and brokers out there going, what happened? So this is why I believe it's imperative to study patterns and trends. If you study patterns and trends, some things become predictable. We saw interest rates rising. The effect that had on housing caught a lot of people by surprise. So how do you hedge against risk? Education. So the other thing that's causing for realtors is that it's not a career, it's a business. I hear it all the time. I'm going to get a career in real estate. Start your career in real estate. Get a career in real estate. Those of you in it know this already, I know. I'm probably preaching to the choir. But those of you considering it, I'll just tell you right now, real estate's not a career. It's not a job. It's a business. If you don't treat it like a business and run it like a business, you're out of business. It's a business. But very few have a business education. And then you get into this business, not even know it's a business, and then he took courses from a school that was happy to take their money and tell them pass rates were important, and then they specialized. They made too much money too fast. They thought they were brilliant marketers, and now they're wondering what the next step is. Many are sweating 4th quarter board dues, and some are going to be canceling Christmas. So I was on a coaching call yesterday, and the person was telling me about their 15-year plan. I asked them if it included buying a house a year. They said no. I told them, well, that's the plan. That's the plan. What are you going to do? What is the present you going to do today to take care of future you? Look, if 15 minutes, if you're 20 years old today, in 15 minutes you're going to be 30. In 30 minutes you're going to be 50. In 45 minutes you're going to be in Social Security. It's going to go that fast. It's not going to feel like it some days, but you're going to look up and go, holy mackerel. And so we don't just get people into real estate. Anyone can do that. What we do best is get them out. So when I ask this question, what is future you doing today to take care of, what is present you today doing to take care of future you? What are you doing? Because your future is created moment by what you do in the present. So what are you doing right here, right now? Well, you're watching this right here, right now, so thank you for showing up. Thank you for your time. But when this is over, you got to go figure out, what are you going to do? Just buy a house a year. If you just buy a house a year, put them on 15-year mortgages, and look, it doesn't matter how much you make, it's how you spend it. Don't go buy the big flashy cars and the big flashy houses and do all that. Just invest. Most people, see, this is the problem. We've been taught to work for money, but most people don't get their money to work for them. I know it's an old trite saying, but it's really true. So this is what causes the problem. People have a technical education. They're really, really smart. They may get grades, they had degrees, but they can't rub two nickels together. So there's a lot more to real estate than just getting a license. But most of these licensing schools don't want you to know that. The attrition rate is north of 80%. They don't want you to know that either. They're desperately concerned about the fact that you may discover that. You know why? They don't know what to do about it. Most of these school owners have never listed or sold any real estate, have never had a buyer in a car, never been on a listing presentation, don't own any investment property, and therefore cannot tell you how to do this. Let me ask you this. Excuse me. How many school owners do you know that created a 30-hour mentoring program based on their experience of over 800 transactions, taught it, recorded it, and gave it to their customers free? How many school owners in the state of Texas do you know that have done that? Hint, none. Except for now. You're looking at them. This is what we've just done. We took our mentoring program. It's part of the Get Started package. So the Get Started package now has the 6 TREC required courses, plus a 2-day exam prep, plus 33 hours of mentoring. It's all in there together. It's recorded. You can watch it 24/7. Stop, pause, rewind, play. It's all in there. We didn't raise the price. We didn't charge it. We just put it in there. Why? Because people need it. Our job, see, a business has 3 purposes. The first one is to give you your life. So I see a lot of realtors and brokers, they give their lives to the real estate business. Don't do that. It will not repay you in kind. So you got to design your life. The purpose of the business is to give you that life. Everything you do, all your goals, go to supporting that. The second purpose of the business is to solve a problem. The bigger the problem, the bigger the check. That's why CEOs make more money than secretaries. Not to disparage secretaries. Everybody needs good admin, but almost anyone can type a file. It takes a pretty clever person to be able to create profits quarter after quarter in this environment. So because they solve a bigger problem, they make more money. This is why Bill Gates is worth, 102 billion. But he figured out how to get computers to talk to each other. Third purpose is to add value. Money is a byproduct. Money should never be the goal. It's not the goal. It's a measuring stick that tells you how valuable you are to other people. So those are the 3 purposes, in my opinion. And again, All you're hearing is my opinions. So the three purposes, once again, give you your life, solve a problem, add value. The more value you become, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you have, the greater your life gets. The problem is most people don't have a business education. Excuse me. So, this is the second type of education. Most schools don't teach it because they don't know how. They try to distract you with pass rates. But what they don't want you to know is that, excuse me, although 80% of their students fail the first year because they don't know what to do, and they don't know what to do about it because they never listened or stole anything themselves. Experience is the best teacher. So that's what you get when you come do business with us. The second type of education is business education. I'll start with this. Everything begins with a thought. This article was once a thought. The device that you're watching this event on was once a thought. The room you're sitting in was once a thought. You were once a thought. So everything begins with a thought. Now we act on how we think. So you have this thought, then you have this behavior, we act on it, and that's how you get your result. If you don't like your result, you don't have to change your behavior. You have to change the way you think. Because everything begins with the thought. For example, here's the thought. I'm thirsty. What do? You get a drink. Thirst quenched. I'm hungry. You eat. No longer hungry. I need money. You go get a job. You get paid every week. My boss is an idiot. Look for a new boss. Start a business with no skills. Become the next idiot. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of them in category 3. What happened? I'm just going to start my own business. So you start a business. You call and pinch customers from your former employer. You work out of your house all day. You have very little overhead, so you compete on price, becoming the cheapest. Your business grows. You have more customers you can handle. You need to expand. I need more space. You go rent some space. I need office furniture. You buy office furniture. The phone rings and rings. Your little business grows. You have more customers than you can handle. Someone says, you should hire an assistant. Your thought is, good help is hard to find. As everyone knows, if you want it done the right way, you have to do it yourself. Besides, no one can do as good as me. If it is to be, it's up to me. So you work harder. These are the thoughts that keep people poor, broke, struggled, tired, worn out, and ultimately quit. You can't keep up with the marketing, sales, production, customer service, bookkeeping, and accounting. So you work longer and harder, and things start to fall through the cracks. Someone else suggests you get an assistant. Assistants are expensive. Besides, by the time I train him, I could have done it myself. Good help is hard to find. As everyone knows, if you're not done the right way, you have to do it yourself. Besides, no one can do as good as me. If it is to be, it's up to me. You've heard these things, right? Maybe you said them to yourselves. So working alone causes overwhelm, which results in slower responses and lower quality. Customers leave, the business fails. Now you think, our customers are idiots. I think I'll try real estate. All my friends are killing it. Excuse me. So you get a real estate license. It's a seller's market. Demand is sky high. Interest rates are lower as they've been in 40 years. You have no experience. Even though you're new to the business, you're killing it. There are more buyers than there are homes for, so you're selling and making more money than ever. You're so busy you can't keep up. After you complain about this to a friend that says, you should get an assistant. And you think assistants are expensive. Besides, by the time I trained them, I could have done it myself. Good help is hard to find and expensive. And everyone knows if you want it done the right way, you do it yourself. It is to be, it's up to me. Besides, no one can do it better. My customers want to hear from me. I give personalized service. So you work harder and longer hours. Now, although an assistant would have cost around $50,000 to $60,000 a year, you could easily have doubled your income because you would be free from the administrative tasks that are associated with closing a transaction. And you work on income-producing activities, write that down, IPA. income producing activities. If you're struggling financially, simply ask yourself this question. How many hours per day am I spending on income producing activities? Admin doesn't make you money. It costs you money. What can you hire admin for? 10, 12 bucks an hour. So when you're doing that, what are you paying yourself? 10, 12 bucks an hour. You're not going to get rich at 10, 12 bucks an hour, or 15, or 20. So you hire an assistant, 50, 60 a year, you double your income, you go from 150 to 300,000 a year. The assistant that helped you produce it gets the extra 150. So you give them 60 and you keep the extra 90. But this never occurs to most people because they've already made up their mind, and it's more important to be right than it is rich. Besides, the school system doesn't teach math anymore. So what's the biggest obstacle to learning? First, it's public education system because they did more harm than they do good. But the real obstacle to learning is ego. I already know all that. Okay. Go for it. The next thing you know, interest rates go from 3 to 8%. Monthly payment almost triples, making buying homes impossible. You haven't closed a transaction for 3 months, and now you're a specialist in a high-risk business. You're a specialist in a high-risk business. So now you have this new thought, real estate sucks, I should have kept my job. I need money, I better get a job. You put an ad on Indeed and ZipRecruiter, and the specialist has now become obsolete. Everything is a business. Your home is a business. You have inventory, income, expenses, negotiations, customer service, bookkeeping, accounting, marketing, and sales. The church is a business. The church is the biggest business in the world. $1 trillion in America alone. The public education system is business. The government is a business. The problem is these entities are not treated like a business, nor are they run like a business. They are chaotic, disorganized, dysfunctional entities that spend uncontrollably and have horrible service and products. Kids can't read or perform simple math functions. We lag the world in education. Our electrical grid, roads, and bridges need repair. We pay too much for energy. The food supply is in question. And we have record debt levels. So the debt we incur didn't even solve the problems we have. This is the real estate business blueprint. This is the business blueprint. This is for business. This specializes for real estate. This shows the 6 components of the business and the definition and goal of each. What this teaches, or what our course teaches, is this mental transition from specialist to generalist. And as I said, specialization leads to extinction. I'm not a specialist. I'm a generalist who hires specialists. So this requires us to unlearn and to relearn. There are 3 groups of educated people. There's the educated. They know that they know. Then there's the uneducated. They know they don't know. They've been studied a lot. You ask them a simple question and they go, I don't know. Like, you know that's an obsolete phrase, right? I don't know is an obsolete phrase. Everything you know is at your fingertips. Just ask Mr. G. He'll tell you everything. That's just laziness. Right? I don't know. I guess if you say so. Then there's the miseducated. These are the folks that are in trouble because they think they know. They have a lot of information and a lot of answers, a lot of diplomas, and a lot of degrees. The problem is what they know isn't so. Almost everything they know is wrong. So unlike the realtor who loves struggling, working by themselves, and doing everything on their own, who will not hire help and sees them an expense, I'm not a specialist. I managed to escape the public education brainwashing and unlearn what little I did learn while I was in there, which was study by yourself, take tests on your own, and cooperation is cheating. There's no wonder we can't get along. I'm a generalist who hires specialists. I carefully choose and select highly talented, skilled, motivated, ambitious professionals who have specialized skills in education that I don't have and can do things I can't do. So, one person alone, even if they love what they do and they're very good at it, only has so much capacity. And one of my criteria for owning a business is that it must be scalable. It must be in demand. It must grow and expand without being dependent on me. So those are my thoughts. And my thoughts are, hard work is a highly overrated activity. I can do it short term, but I choose not to live my life struggling to earn a living. My job is not to do the work, but to manage the work. Laziness is the key to success. My job is to find the right people and get the right people to do the right thing at the right time. If it is to be, it is up to me to find the right person with the right personality, experience, and skill set, and to train them. Get the company on autopilot, work on the business, not in it, and create multiple income streams. Well, how do you do that? Well, if you're a real estate broker, you start a real estate brokerage, hire agents, offer mortgages, title services, remodeling, appraisal, inspections, home warranties. Look at all the businesses associated with home ownership and get into as many as possible. To me, it's about risk mitigation. I spend 90% of my time creating income streams and mitigating risk. And one takes care of the other. Because the more different varied income streams I have, the less risk I have. If you have one business and it tanks because the economy goes south, then you're toast. Look, this happened to us. In 2008, the mortgage markets, the whole financial system came to a near meltdown. And it was global financial chaos. Maybe you remember this. The mortgage markets froze. Lending froze. And as I said earlier, in America, look, we live in a capitalist society. If you don't understand capitalism or capital, you're in trouble. A lot of people don't have the financial education. So they borrow their way. So it's not how much, as I said, it's how much a month. Well, when borrowers, not many pay cash. When interest rates are 3%, it's hard to blame them. It's much smarter to borrow money when it's that cheap, especially if you're buying real estate with it, especially if you get someone else to pay it back, which is the only time you should be borrowing money. So buyers couldn't borrow, sellers couldn't sell, buyers couldn't buy because borrowers couldn't access financing. They couldn't access capital. So guess what happened to realtors? Buyers can't buy houses, sellers can't sell houses, you don't sell houses, you don't get paid. Guess what they also don't do? Take real estate courses. So our business is off 65% by 2009. So what did we do? We started a new company. So I'm reading the Austin Business Journal. Lynn's on her way into Austin. We lived in Lago Vista. She's on her way to Austin. And I called her. She said, I was just listening to the radio. I said, I was just reading the journal. I said, what'd you hear? Well, this thing called an energy audit that the city's requiring everybody to have. I said, that's the same article I just read. We should get in that business. So we did. What do we know about energy audits? Nothing. Don't let ignorance stop you. Learn as you go. You're supposed to learn that way. It's the way God invented you. Trial and error, mistake correct. Whoever makes the most mistakes wins. Just correct them quickly. No, for real. We put, I don't know, I think 425 people through there in 2 years at $1,800 a head, saved the company. 3 years go by, market rebounds, energy audit business dries up, we go back to what we were doing. So you understand this. Money is created. Wealth is built over time. So we're taught to exchange labor for money. That's an old, worn out industrial age idea. It won't make you rich. It'll only make you tired. So if you're tired of being tired and sick of being sick, then just stop doing that. Now you get filthy rich having a real good job. Because again, it doesn't matter how much you make. It matters how much you spend. Most people spend money on consuming goods that decrease in value. Rather than put that away, buy the investment property, buy another one, buy another one, buy another one, and let your investments pay for your luxuries. Let your investments pay for your consumption. So, to me, it's having a technical education, taking what you love, developing this specialized skill, and monetizing it, turning it into a business. So how do you do that? You got to find the right people to do the right thing at the right time. So if it's real estate brokerage, lots of ancillary services, lots of different income streams. If you're an electrician, do landscape lighting and driveway lighting, offer home Christmas lighting, remodeling, teach people how to change all their fluorescent lights for LEDs, contract with new home builders, branch into commercial and new apartments and office buildings. Let's say you're a plumber, you need additional income streams. Do new home construction, remodels, add service like water saving appliances, adding water filtration system, adding water storage tanks, upgrading the irrigation system. I just pay my guy to do that. I got sprinklers spraying water everywhere, and it's evaporating into the sky. I put drip system in. I cut my bill by 2/3, and the plants are wet all the time because it's dripping in nice and slow. Save, conserve. There's a lot of ways to do that. Create more, save more. So, technical education, business education, and the third type of education is financial. By financial, I mean, what is a cash on cash return? What's the definition of it? How do you use it? How do you measure it? What does it tell you? What is a capitalization or cap rate? What's the definition? How do you measure it? How do you use it? What does it tell you? What's an IRR or internal rate of return? What's the definition? How do you measure it? How do you use it? What does it tell you? How do you create or build a pro forma, and how is it used? How do you create or build an APOD, or annual property operating data form? What's in it? What does it tell you? How's it used? How do you take advantage of tax deductions for business owners and investors? Tax deductions. Look, the IRS, if you're an employee, IRS hates you. They're going to punish you. If you save or you work, you're in trouble. If you own a business or invest, you get tax breaks that that employers and savers don't get. You're getting punished by saving money, because look what's happening to it right now. You're getting punished for saving it. You can't make money saving money. If you save money, you'll lose it. That's the paradox. You got to put it to work. The problem is most people fear what they don't know, and they don't know how to invest, so they choose to do nothing. So what happens? Nothing. You go backwards. Tax breaks. The IRS will give you tax breaks as investors and property owners. So tell me, how do you find, analyze, negotiate, structure, write a contract, perform due diligence, close a transaction, do rehab, market, sell, select creditworthy tenants, and stabilize and manage property? You got to know how to do that. If you don't, we have a course. Psychology of Investing, and a coaching program to follow it. We'll tell you what we've done. It's not stuff we read in the book and thought was cute and parroted back. We're not parrots. We don't memorize information and repeat it. We just tell you what we did. Right, wrong, good, bad, pretty, or ugly. We just tell you how we did it. So, this is the difference between an investor and a consumer. Consumers are concerned about the price of gas, the price of eggs, the price of milk. Investors don't care because investors love inflation. If you own a bunch of real estate, you love inflation. So what do people who don't understand this or are too lazy or too fearful to do it think? Rich people are crooks. Or then they do this religious bit, right?
It's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man to heaven.
No, it's not. Lastly, so it's technical, business, financial. Now this is the model that the richest people in America use. They make their money in businesses and they hold it in real estate. And that's the model we use because we've seen other people use it and it works fairly well. So how do you use all three types of education to become more and more successful than you already are? If you're happy where you are, great. If you're not, here's the formula. First of all, learn a skill. Find something you love to do and master it. Preferably, this thing should be a thing that can become a business. Hopefully your choice is a product or service that is in high demand and solves a big problem that thousands or millions of people either want or need. Do your market research to find out how large the potential market may be. How big is this niche or this thing that you love? Is it scalable? Second, build a business. Using the blueprints. The business blueprint, real estate business blueprint. Fairly identical. One specializes in the real estate business. The other is generic for all small businesses. Yes, they've been registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, so don't even think about it. Build a business. Using the business blueprints, start with marketing. Marketing is the number one skill to have, followed by sales, production, customer service, bookkeeping, and accounting. Learn the definition and goal of each. Then begin by working in the business day by day and on the business nights and weekends, writing systems to replace yourself. Writing systems to replace yourself. Remember, hard work is overrated. Laziness is the key to success. The way to get out of the business is to replace yourself with systems. And then hire people to run the systems that run the business. People don't run the business, people run the systems. Systems run the business. Everything you do should be systems driven. Systems. They're the grease of organization that make them run smoothly and quietly. And then lastly, invest your profits. This is the formula. This is what many of the mega rich in America and other countries around the world do. They make their money in their business and they hold it in real estate. So that's it. Three types of education: technical, business, financial. The Real Estate Business School. Oh, by the way, these are being converted to an online format. PJ's helping me work on this. So we've got a team that works on it. One does the video, one does the IT, PJ's overseeing it. So you got to have a team because no one succeeds alone. You're only as good as your team. So put a team together. If you don't need people skills, go find someone and hire someone who has them. Thank you for your time. This has been Wednesdays with Wayne, brought to you by our favorite sponsor, the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the learn to use it part. I'll see you next Wednesday at 9. I don't know what the topic is, but I think it's something good. If you got any questions, email us, info@buildmyrebusiness.com, or you can ask us on messages on Facebook or Instagram. We're highly available and ready to take your questions. If you have questions, suggestions, feedback, let us know. And thank you for your time. Go out and make it a better world and go mind your own business. See you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.